Welcome back to 128KB. This is your quick bit of gaming news where we catch up in the world of gaming this week. If you're new here, make sure you do subscribe. If any of these stories bore you, well, they're all chaptered below so you can skip through to the end. If you don't like my face at all, make sure you hit the thumbs up button to let me know.
Today's super awesome video sponsor is Play Vital. Do you have Dorito fingers? Are you worried about damaging your favorite controller, Nintendo Switch, or handheld? Maybe you want to add some flair to your console, or maybe you want extra precision from your joysticks. Whether you're full-on kawaii or not, Play Vital's got you covered for all of the above and more. From aim assist rings, thumbstick grips, protective cases, silicone grips, and skins, Play Vital's surely got something that will not only make you stand out from the crowd, but protect your devices at the same time. For more information, check out these awesome products in the link in the description.
And let's jump into the first story this week, and this requires a drum roll. Yes, it's the story that never goes away and always is disappointing. Switch 2 news. Yes, Switch 2's news. Everyone's uncle who works at Nintendo can't stop leaking Switch 2 news, whether it's about hardware release dates, speculation on price points, but this week it's none of those. It is the rumoured titles that are coming to Switch 2 this year. When I say rumoured, they are definitely rumoured and not confirmed, but in fact, this speculation does seem pretty nailed on. It was actually released by Nate the Hate over on Twitter this week, and to be fair, it's just kind of a summation of all of the rumours and the news stories, the adding together all the things we've heard from different people and different developers such as Xbox about what's likely to come to Switch 2. So the rumoured Switch 2 games so far, according to all of this, we will get a new 3D Mario, exciting, a Legend of Zelda remake, which of course we all do want, and then some of the slightly unusual ones that are coming from third parties. You've got Rainbow Six Siege, The Division, Starfield, Fallout 4, Diablo 4, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Of course, that was only just announced over on the State of Play at PlayStation literally last night, which we're going to talk about at the end of this video. This is kind of what this whole thing is about. That'll be a really interesting addition to Switch 2 if that is likely to happen. Of course, it is coming to Xbox as well, so it's already a multi-platform thing, so it's not totally out of the question. We have two of the Assassin's Creed games with Mirage and Shadows. That'll be interesting to see. The one that I'm really excited for, as long-time viewers know, Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth coming to Switch 2. That will be mental if that does happen. Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, then the Mario and Rabbids collection. Of course, we're also pretty nailed on that there will be the new Mario Kart. That was just teased more than heavily. It was laid on thick in the official Switch 2 announcement. It was all we saw was Mario Kart footage, so it seems pretty nailed on that's going to be a launch title for Switch 2. We also know there's some really big games coming this year that have already been announced, but they weren't announced officially for Switch 2 at the time, with Pokemon Legends Z&A, Metroid Prime 4, which looks absolutely amazing, and Xenoblade Chronicles X, the Definitive Edition, which is a game Andy insists that I have to play, all of which will be coming by the time the Switch 2 drops, so obviously they're going to be Switch 2 titles too. But in truth, that list is really just a combination of all the things that we've heard from the third-party publishers as well, specifically Xbox. Most of those games listed were Xbox games, and that seems pretty nailed on that's going to happen. Phil Spencer has been very open about their multi-platform approach going forward and the wanting to work even closer with Nintendo, so it wouldn't be a massive surprise to see those games coming. It's not a massive leap for them to be in this kind of rumoured list. The only one that feels slightly off to me is Microsoft Flight Simulator. Having Flight Sim on Switch feels weird. I don't know, but maybe we'll see it. It's kind of cozy, I guess, so it does fit in that sense. Love to know what you guys think about those rumours, but let's move this along to PlayStation 5 selling, well, all the PlayStation 5s ever, despite it being so ridiculously expensive, still over halfway through its generation. And it seems like Nintendo aren't the only ones that can sell boatloads of hardware, as Sony have updated their PS5 sales figures in their latest kind of financial reports on the company. It's a really boring document. I recommend that you do not read it. I did for you, and I've summed up the two big parts here, and that is that PS5 has sold loads of units and they sold loads of software too. So hurrah for Sony overpricing things. So sales for the last quarter for the PS5 were up 16% on this time last year, bringing the total units sold for PS5 so far to 75 million, which has actually really surprised me. I didn't think it'd be anywhere near that figure already. That does kind of bring it up in line closer to what the PS4 was and is at this kind of point in its generation. It has to be said that those sales figures, of course, do also include the original PS5 and the PS5 Slim, the updated version, the PS5 Pro, the 30th anniversary editions as well. So all of the PS5 kind of platform combined. I think what's crazy about this is that despite the really shaky start and the massive shortages, I couldn't get one for over a year. All of that at the start of the PS5 generation, and also, let's be honest, the lack of PS5 exclusive games, I mean, games that are just designed for PS5 and not PS4 as well. Despite the lack of all of that and all of the shaky start, it has seemed to have massively picked up, and the PS5 is selling better than ever. And the other really surprising part of it is when you consider the price point. The PS4 at this point in the generation of its life cycle was only $299, whereas the PS5 now is sitting $200 more than that at $499. Of course, you have to account for, things are more expensive now than they used to be, but they're definitely not $200 more expensive on something that was only $300. They're not 2/3 more expensive in that kind of 7-year difference. So it's definitely more expensive than it used to be. I guess that worries me more than it should, but it feels like Sony have been on a march with PlayStation to make it the Apple of gaming, this walled garden of overpriced accessories and of not sharing things outside of its proprietary connection of their Bluetooth wireless earbud lossless audio nonsense that costs $200 and something. The Portal, which isn't a handheld console, but they're kind of selling it as one, and that's $200. That annoys me. The fact that everything is so expensive but still sells really well. I think as gamers we should be a little bit concerned by that, because these figures only serve to prove that they're doing the right thing for them, and that will only encourage them to make it more like this going forward. And that can only be a bad thing if Sony really do turn PlayStation into the Apple of gaming. They'll sit that out there on their own, doing very expensive things, and people really love it, so they will be charged more than they should be for it. Anyway, I'm getting on my soapbox about it. It's pointless. The headline is the PS5 has sold 75 million units. The amount of games they sold last year as well, they sold 95.9 million units of software last year. That is pretty incredible. And talking of software, let's jump into the main part of this video, the big heavy thing that happened just last night that I stayed up late to watch and didn't really understand when I was watching it, maybe because I was bleary-eyed. So I got up early again this morning to watch it so I can write some notes and make the video and kind of sum up for you. That, of course, is the PlayStation State of Play that happened last night. 45 minutes of 29 games. It was jam-packed, full of releases, some exclusive, a lot not, some we knew about, a lot that we knew about actually, and not many that we didn't know about. But there was a lot in there, basically. When I did watch it, first of all, last night, I was a little bit underwhelmed, if I'm honest. I was talking to some of the channel members as I was doing it. Nothing really jumped out at me, but I struggle a little bit with the state of plays at the moment, because when I watch the Xbox developer directs as an example, I know 95% of the games that I'm going to watch are going to come to Game Pass, and I'm going to get to play them day one without an added expense. And that means the games I'm excited for, that's a really exciting prospect. And the games I'm not excited for, I can also still jump in and be proven wrong. I think of South of Midnight on the Xbox Developer Direct recently, where I wasn't overly awed by it, but it's coming to Game Pass, so actually I'm going to reserve my judgment on that, and I'll just play it. But it's not going to cost me anything extra to play it, because it's already part of the subscription. When I go move that headspace over to the PlayStation State of Play, there's a lot of games there that feel a bit mid. I'm nonplussed by them, and yet I'm not going to be able to take a risk on them, because it's going to cost me 50, 70, maybe £80 to do that. So they're going to sit in that pile of games that I'll never even consider buying or playing unless they come on sale many years later. So it's harder to be excited with these announcements when there's games that I'm kind of a bit nonplussed by, but I'm never going to be able to try, because PlayStation don't have the same Game Pass system. Anyway, that's my own personal opinion, and I'm not being news objective about it. There were some real highlights for it from me as well, I will say. Games like Directive 8020 looks really cool. The new Shinobi game, The Art of Vengeance, I can't help it. I do love those kind of games. That looks really cool. There was the co-op action games, Split Fiction. There's not enough co-op adventure games out there, so that was great to see. But it was also certainly a night for Souls-like and Souls-styled games. Can we just stop with them, please? I'm going to be honest. I'm so fed up of that kind of grinding, super hard, you have to die loads, Souls-like thing. I know it's massively popular, and I know there's going to be loads of you that disagree with me. That's cool. We're all allowed to have different opinions on games. It's super cool. I just am tired of seeing so many of them now, so please can we stop? In all the announcements and updates last night, there was over 29 titles, I think it was, spanning over 45 minutes. It was pretty massive, to be fair. Not all of those games are PlayStation exclusive. A lot of them are multi-platform. But let's be honest, Xbox do exactly the same in their developer directs as well, where they kind of dress it up like it's going to be an Xbox exclusive game, and then you look around and you actually see that it's on PlayStation and on PC as well. The majority of these games, it was the same case too. So rather than go through absolutely everything, because we'd be here for another 45 minutes, and I know you don't want to do that, let's just give you some of my highlights. We'll start at the beginning, and that is, I am a nostalgia freak, so I am going to love this game, and I'm sorry if you don't like 2D games. I do. And that is, of course, the new Shinobi game, The Art of Vengeance. It's a kind of 2D or 2.5D action platformer with a kind of Metroidvania-esque style, a really cool art style, awesome combat. I love these games. Even though I'm absolutely terrible at them, I still love them. There's something about that kind of Metroidvania-style coolness. I think about the Prince of Persia game recently. That was really cool as well. It's a real kind of a real divider amongst people's opinions of these style of games, and I think it's because people don't like the idea of 2D games in 2025, but they still have a lot to offer. And I think if you can overlook that kind of 2D feel and just try it, I think you'll all really enjoy them, because there's a lot to love about the pacing, the gameplay loop, the action, and the new Shinobi game is absolutely no exception to that list. We, of course, did know that this was coming. Sega did tease it last year when they did announce that there was a few of their old IPs getting rebooted. This was one of them, and we saw some really quick glimpses of it. I'm absolutely there for that, and therefore Sega rebooting some of their old IPs, because they're all really cool games, and what they're doing with them could and should be really cool. Let's move it along to something a bit more modern, and that is Stellar Blade. Yes, we all love a bit of Booby Blade, don't we? And no, I'm not excited for those reasons. It's the game, okay? It's a cool game. Stop judging me, okay? Yeah. So first of all, we got the Nike. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I always get these things wrong. But the new DLC is coming for Stellar Blade. It's a collaboration with an old mobile game, I think. I don't know. I didn't know what it was. But that wasn't really the bit that I was that excited about. The bit that really excites me is the fact that right at the end of the thing, it had nothing to do with PlayStation, right at the end of the little announcement, was the announcement that it's coming to PC. So we will get Stellar Blade on our PC handhelds. June this year, it's happening. Stellar Blade on PC. Oh yeah. And do you know what's even more awesome about that? The Stellar Blade mods are going to happen. Yeah, you're thinking it too, I know. And if you're not, then you're a much better person than I am. And if you are, tag me in them. Okay, the other real standout for me, and I spoke about it a little bit earlier, and that is Directive 8020. This first got announced at some point last year. Of course, it is a multi-platform release, so I think it might have even been one of the Xbox developer directs. Anyway, Directive 8020, it is the latest addition to the Dark Pictures anthology from Supermassive Games. Supermassive Games made something absolutely epic with those original Dark Pictures anthology games. Really cool kind of, I want to even call them interactive dramas. They're kind of survival horror, but they're based on your decisions and you kind of play out this kind of interactive story. They're really beautifully done. Your decisions have massive consequences, and this is a new addition into that into that series of games from them. Although this is obviously unrelated, it's a kind of sci-fi survival horror. It has massive alien vibes to it, and I'm absolutely there for that as well. It looks really cool, straight up, right up my street. that kind of alien survival horror, but a really cool pacing. Just a lot to love about this game. I'm really excited for it. It's coming out in October. It is, of course, multi-platform, so we will see it on PlayStation. We'll also see it on Xbox and PC as well. Something really exciting coming from Supermassive Games. It's just genuinely got me really excited. But also, of course, there's a whole lot of other stuff that I've not mentioned. There's been a request in that I read out everything that was there, just so not everyone is, missing out on what happened. Let's go. We got Monster Hunter Wilds, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, Sonic Racing Crossworlds, Digimon Story Time Stranger, Lost Soul, Side Like a Dragon, Pirate Izuku in Hawaii, Dave the Driver, the Ichiban Holiday DLC, Splitgate 2, WWE 2K 2025, Borderlands 4, Split Fiction, Directive 8020, Five Nights at Freddy's, Secret of the Mimic, Midnight Walk, Darwin's Paradox, Warriors of the Abyss, Omniscia 2, Omniscia The Way of the Warrior, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, The Hell Is Us, P Overture DLC. I didn't even talk about that. God, I'm sorry. Dream of Another, Days Gone Remastered, Stellar Blade DLC and the PC launch, Blueprints and Abiotic Factor, Tides of Annihilation, Metal Eden, Mind's Eye, and Saros. And if you listen to that at double speed, it would sound like I've gone mental, which I definitely haven't, or maybe I have, because in fact I am talking to myself in the corner of the room, staring at a weird camera-like device in order to get you to interact with me. And talking of getting you to interact with me, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the state of play last night. Did you get excited? What bits did I miss out? Because obviously there's loads of games that are there and I couldn't go through them all because we'd be here all day and none of us want to do that. Let me know down in the comments what you were most excited for, what you were most disappointed with. I just want the conversation to start. So join in the conversation down below in the comments. And whilst you're down there digging around, make sure you like the video because, of course you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel because, we want your love. And, you should come back for more. There's me, there's Andy, there's the podcast, there's reviews, there's all sorts of stuff that happened here. So if you like gaming, you should probably subscribe to the channel. And then before you leave, watch another video from us. Slapped up right next to my face, there'll be another video that you'll probably like. It was definitely quite good, I promise. So until the next time, I'll see you next time.